Well, it's a warm welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's okay back there in a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. It's a bright Monday morning where I am, and I don't know where it is. Johnny, it's a beautiful morning over there as well.
Yeah, I'm in Chiang Mai, and it's nice.
Excellent, excellent. So, welcome to the show, Johnny. So, if it's your first time here, it's a very warm welcome. It's really pleased to see you here. Don't forget to subscribe below. Hit the little bell, because if you hit that, you will actually get notification when we update and release new videos. So, which is cool. If you're a regular to the sort of the Sunday night show, it's basically a coaching call, but we're mixing up a little bit this week. So welcome back, and it's really good to see you. So I've just got a quick intro that I want to go through. So I've got a few notes here. So, and I know a lot of people out there are aspiring to basically sit down and write that resignation letter and take that in on a Monday morning. Say, here you go, boss, I'm done, I'm out. And I know I've done that. I know many people within the actual group have done that, and they've gone on to become financially independent, and what we call location independent. Rob was a great one for that. He jacked everything in from America and went to live in Thailand, over where Johnny is right now, over in Chiang Mai. But for me, it was more of a case of spending more time with the family. And I don't actually miss out on any of the children's school plays or anything like this. I'm there, and I'm there all of the time, because I can, and I can be. Simple as that. And being your own boss is, it all sounds good, you know, and it's not just a dream. You can do it, you know, and there are many people out there that have proven that, you know, being able to make money online, and being able to be motivated on a daily basis is doable. It is doable, but you need to have a plan, and you need to put that plan in place. And the old cliche, you need to take action, is so true. Yeah, nothing's going to be handed to you on a plate. You need to get up, and you need to move your ass and get things going. But you need to do it one step at a time, and you can only do that if you've got sort of things planned out ahead of you. So, which is good. We'll be talking about that today as well. Now, when it comes to goals in life, I asked someone once, sort of a long time ago, and I said to him, "What's your goal in life?" And I got a really strange answer, actually. He said, "To never wear socks again." I think, never wear socks again. I didn't get it for a long time. I get it now. I've never actually, well, I haven't put a pair of shoes on to actually go to work for the past 11 years. And that, for me, that's a great thing. And I get the thing that, you know, never to wear socks. Now, what he was actually getting at was he never actually wanted to go to work for a boss again, because he didn't want to put on his suit, and putting on his suit was part of that, was putting on his socks every day. So I get it, and that is very, very doable, to have that goal set in life. It's not necessarily to be a millionaire in life, but if you want to be financially independent, if you want to be location independent, if you want to spend more time with the family, you do need to plan that out, and you need to have that positive mental attitude, and that really does help. That really does help. And again, we're going to be touching on some of that with Johnny and his journey. So, like I said, we are really, really, really lucky that I've invited my friend and fellow digital nomad, Johnny FD, onto the show today. So we're going to be finding out, I'm going to be asking you a few questions, and for yourself, Johnny, about how you left the 9-to-5 and that rat race, sort of way back in the years, and how you actually become truly independent. And I believe you've managed to travel the world, literally. Certainly during 2017, I understand that you've visited more countries than I've got fingers on my hands, put it that way. So, which is like awesome, absolutely awesome. And I know that one of your passions on a year-to-year basis has been, and it is, the Nomad Summit, and I was really, really lucky to be part of that this year, 2018, which I'm really grateful for the invitation there, Johnny. So, which is good, and we're going to be finding out more about that sort of later on in the call, and how we, as a group of Amazon FBA owners and sellers, how we can benefit from actually going along to sort of the Nomad Summit and other and other aspects. So without further ado, I'm going to stop waffling on, and I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit, Johnny.
Yeah. So, hey guys, I'm Johnny, and I guess my question to you, Paul, but also everyone listening to me now is, how many of you are you wearing socks right now?
No, I'm not.
Me neither. So I guess it worked out.
I am seriously overdressed. I've got a shirt on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but so I'm working out of home today, and normally, actually, at this time, I'm always on a hike. So I've structured my day where every morning when I wake up, before I even turn on my phone, I leave my phone on airplane mode when I sleep. I don't check my email. I don't open a laptop. I go out for a 1 hour hike before I do anything. And to me, that's been my dream, is to be able to have the freedom to be able to live somewhere, number one, where it's warm enough year round, where it's not bloody cold in England right now, or in Canada, or wherever you guys are listening. If you guys are from a cold place, leave a comment below. I would love to hear where you're from and also what the temperature is right now. And that's been my dream. That's my no socks kind of equivalent. Is I want to live somewhere where it's summer year round, where I can go out into nature, I can go for a swim, I can go for a hike, and not have to wear socks if I didn't want to.
Exactly, and being able to actually get up in the morning and do what you want. Now, a lot of people I've been talking to over the last probably month or two, and when I know Rob was doing his interviews over there in Chiang Mai for some of the groups, he was always asking the question, "What do you do in the morning?" And a lot of people have this routine. Me, it's a little bit of exercise. I'm trying to get into shape this year, so I dedicate half an hour for that. Similar to what yourself is, Johnny. Whether I'd have actually time to do that on a 9-to-5 job, I'm not sure. I used to be able to, but that was way before I had a big family and all the rest of it. But it's difficult to fit in everything if you got that 9-to-5. I'd done it. I got my master's degree while I was doing the 9-to-5 job, and that's tough, man. I'll tell you, it really is. So I really, really appreciate the time that I have now with my family and being able to do that. It's priceless. It really is. So, Johnny, tell us about your 9-to-5 back in the day. I don't know how many years ago that was, but so what happened there? And what were you? What were you doing?
Yeah, so straight out of university, I got a job at Honeywell, which is a big American corporation, and I worked in a cubicle. I had to put on my socks, my shirt and tie every day, and I remember specifically dreading that. Waking up, I had a closet full of these white dress shirts I got from Costco, and I had to iron them, and I hated ironing my shirts. And that was one of my goals, is like, I never want to have to iron a shirt again. And part of it was, just the financials too. I couldn't afford to have my shirts pressed every time I would have it. I would wear it, because you have to wear them 5 days a week. And I loved that job the first year, to be honest, because it was something new. You're out of university, you figure you worked so hard all those years to get that job, and you're like, this is it, this is the dream. And I started having a steady paycheck. I was making decent money. I made $48,000 a year. So I was able to buy a new car. I was able to buy, nicer stuff. But I realized on my trip to Thailand on vacation that I wasn't happy. And I knew that almost right away. I thought I was happy when I was living in the US and I was going to work every day, and I would live for the weekends or live for that next, holiday, the 3-day weekend holidays that you would go somewhere. And it wasn't until I got to Thailand and I had a whole, 2 weeks off, and I got to wear flip-flops with no socks, shorts, and a $2 t-shirt, and I was happy. And that was when I knew this is it for me.
Things had to change from there on. Yeah, I know what you mean. No, mine was a slightly little different. I was, I had a good job. I was a director of a company. I was on a 6-figure salary and new Mercedes driving around in and stuff like this. And but I was seriously unhappy back in England. I had issues back at home and all the rest of it. With the current wife, and I thought, what, it's time for a change. Mm-hmm. And I just jacked everything in, and I went to live in China. Because I've been dealing with sort of the Chinese for 20 plus years now. So I was very, very comfortable moving to China. And that was it for me. That was I just wanted a change in life.
Mhm.
And when I got to China, it was a case of like, okay, well, what do I do now? I've got nothing, so I had to make it work, and I just picked up what I knew. I was a consultant for engineering. Engineering is my background, and I just made it work. I set myself up a consultancy over there, and that's been like that ever since. And I haven't gone back to work since, and it's absolutely brilliant. I tell you, really is. So, tell me about the first dollar you made online. Because it all starts with $1.
Yeah, and it was a long journey. I always had a blog. I had a blog before blogging was even a term. I used to have a Zanga, and then I had a blog spot, and then I had a whatever, and I never knew how to make money from it. I think I accidentally made $12 a month from it at some point, but it wasn't a significant amount. And it wasn't until 2013 when my back was against the wall. I was in Thailand and my savings was running out. I had about $1,000 left, maybe $2,000 at the time, and I couldn't even afford a plane ticket home. But I knew I didn't want to go home yet. I knew that if I went home, I would be a failure. That everybody who told me, "Hey, John, it's a bad idea to give up your job and your life to move to Thailand," that they would be right. And I just could not let that happen. And I thought, okay, what can I do to extend my trip here? I just need $600 a month to be able to live a cheap, comfortable life in Thailand. And that was the goal. And I was lucky that it was a small goal because I thought, okay, I had this blog. At the time, I was writing a blog about my Muay Thai journey. So I was doing Thai kickboxing, and I was living very cheaply. And I had a decent following because I didn't charge anything for the blog. It was free. There was hardly any adverts on there. I think I might have had Google AdSense on or something, and I made $2 a month or something. And so people liked it. People liked the information about how to move to Thailand and follow your passions, whether it's Muay Thai or scuba diving, and be able to just live cheaply. And I thought, maybe I can turn this into an ebook. I had heard that Amazon started letting people self-publish on Kindle, and this was, 5 years ago now, so it wasn't that popular yet. I didn't know anyone who had written a book or published a book. Now I have friends who literally have thousands of books published on Kindle. So now it seems like a piece of like a cakewalk. But back then I'd never met a single person who's done it. And I thought, you know what, let me give this a shot. So I spent 2 months sitting in my $150 a month apartment across from the Muay Thai gym, just writing, desperately writing it all day. I would take a break to train Muay Thai, and which is probably also good. It got my mind kind of cleared up with the physical exercise. But the rest of the day, from morning till night, I was writing, and I had to figure out how to navigate Amazon's policies and signups and all that stuff that you guys know. You have to jump through all the hurdles, you have to jump through sending payments, especially being overseas. But I got that book up, and that first month, I made $200, and I was like, I got this. I can. Whoa. If I can scale this up to 600, I'm retiring. I'm staying in Thailand forever.
Yeah, and it's that exciting, isn't it? It really is that exciting. Once you see that first real paycheck coming in, that you've actually sat down and I haven't got my shirt on and I haven't got my socks on, and I'm still making money. And you know what? If I do this, I can survive. I can do better than survive. I can thrive. And being able to get to that position, I think is I can't put it into words. It is like exciting at the same time as thrilling, as well as like living on the edge. If you're only just surviving, once you get to that point where you've tipped that balance, you think, you know what, now I'm comfortable. This is incredible. Yeah, because we've had people in the group, Johnny, that they've jacked in the 9 to 5, but they haven't jacked it in until they've actually got to the position where their business has exceeded their current salary. And again, slightly different to you and I's story. But even so, it is fantastic to hear those success stories within our group, and it's really, really good. Very encouraging.
I always tell people that the prudent thing to do would be to work on your business on the side. And then once that replaces your income, then make the move. However, not everybody is willing to do that. Some people are in such a bad situation where the longer they stay in their home country, the worse things get, whether it's their health or their relationships or their sanity. Maybe it's freezing cold and you're just unhappy. You're not motivated, not driven, or you have some, family issues where you're in this toxic relationship, or, you don't have the mental energy to even build a business on the side. For those people, I would say, hey, if you know it's not going to happen back home, just make the jump, take the risk. It's harder to build when you're actually in another country because you're not in the same time zone. You're looking, you got to figure out how to speak another language or live somewhere else. So it's not that it makes it easier being in Thailand or being in the Philippines or being in China, but if that environment allows you to actually do what you should do anyways, that's when I would recommend just making that jump.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really down to the individual. Yeah. And you really need to evaluate where you are in your life with respect to whether you've got that dedication to actually build it while you're doing the 9 to 5, or whether, as Johnny said, as you said, Johnny, it's like, you know what, I'm just going for it. I'm just going to make that change. Now, obviously, if you're a family person, you're happy at home, and it's very, very difficult to say, you know what, guys, we're now going to move right across the other side of the world. We've got sort of kids in school and stuff like that. I've got a family. I've got seven of us over here. So it'd be difficult for me to say, you know what, let's go to another country. The logistics there are just going to be very, very difficult. But I've decided now that the Philippines is a good place for me. I can come over to Thailand. I can go to Singapore. I can go to Malaysia. All of these places back in the UK are exotic places to visit, but for me living in the Philippines, it's very, very easy for me to get to all of those places, which is a real benefit.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing I want people to keep in mind is you don't necessarily have to replace your income that you're making back home. You can just, that target number just needs to be what you can live comfortably in that next country. So for Thailand, for example, you can live a very basic life for $600 a month, but you can also live a very luxurious life for $1,500 a month. So depending on what you're willing to, kind of sacrifice, if you want to say, hey, I want that security of having a paycheck, having money coming in every month before I make the move. Don't think of replacing your 6-figure salary back home as a director, or don't think about replacing $48,000 a year as an account manager. Think about making $1,000 a month so you can come to Thailand and live a comfortable life and not have to worry about the bills, not have to worry about the stress of, not having money coming in. But then literally you can have the same quality of life in a place like Chiang Mai or in the Philippines for $1,000 a month than you would for $4,000 a month back home.
Oh, exactly. Yes, that's right. People say to me, do you rent or do you got your own house and stuff like this? Now, the cost of living where we live, Johnny, is a lot less, as you say. I bought my house over here. It's a 4-bedroom place. It's only on a little bit of land, but it's still a 4-bedroom place. I've got 3 bathrooms. It's really great. $65,000 cash. That's it. Done. And people are, what? But that's just, I'm just lucky to be here. But it was a choice. It was a choice, and I made that choice. And don't get me wrong, guys. It's like I don't sit here, twiddling thumbs. I have to work, and I have to work to ensure that I've got that income. The same as Johnny, you need to work on a daily basis to make sure you've got that income coming in, and growing the business. Nothing's handed to us on a silver platter, but we do have that benefit of working when we want and where we want. As I'll visit whenever I go away, always take the laptop. As long as I've got internet, then I can continue my business and I can continue to write. I can continue these calls, which I have done from various different places. So talking about traveling, Johnny, come on, tell me, where have you been and how have you managed to travel the world so much? And what is your business? I've got several questions in there, but I'll let you go with the flow.
Yeah. So my business is just creating multiple streams of passive income, where what I've been doing for the last 4 years is I'll spend 3 months at a time just building up a new stream. And the reason why I like that is I'm not reliant on any one source of income. As much as I like the checks I get from Amazon, I don't want to be reliant on Big Brother Amazon to continue giving me those checks. I also want to get a check from, you know, YouTube. I want to get a check from Shopify. I want to get a check from Udemy. I want to get multiple checks, knowing that if one dries out or one flags my account for whatever reason because I logged in from another country, or, you know, there was some kind of shipping dispute or whatever it is, I don't want to go from, you know, making that much money to making zero. I'd rather have it just fluctuate a little bit depending on what's happening. So, you know, I have 2 Kindle books. I had a couple of drop shipping stores. I had a couple courses on Udemy. I have a course on my own platform called Income Boss. I have money that I actually make from my YouTube channel. I have money that I make from my email lists and my blog through affiliate partnerships. And then now I have a bunch of investment income that what I did was every time I sold one of my e-commerce businesses, I would take that big chunk of cash and I would put it into index funds or online real estate or something where I can get passive income as a new check. And I've had friends do this with their FBA stores as well. So, you know, you sell off, you know, your whole store with all the inventory, the branding and everything, and you get a big chunk of cash up front, and you can take that money and just put it into some kind of investment. And that, to me, is the ultimate source of passive income, because your money is making you money instead of you having to make your money.
Yeah, smart money. Smart money. You know, it's like getting the money and make it for you. Yeah, I like that. And passive income and multiple streams of income. Absolutely. You know, it's you're right. I think I've got about 3 drop shipping stores at the moment rolling along. Some doing better than others. I've got the FBA business. I've got this training I'm doing of, it's various different streams of income. And I think that's really important to understand. A lot of predominantly everybody that's listening at the moment is within our group. We've got a few people outside that we've invited in, I know, but it's all about FBA and Amazon FBA. So if you can get started on one thing, don't try and do multiple things all at the same time. Get one business up and running. Make sure you've got that coming in. Once you've got that rolling and that steady income coming in, that's when you can start to build that secondary and third and fourth, multiple streams of income. And don't just focus on one aspect. Don't just like put everything in one basket. So I've got various different drop shipping stores, and they're focused on different niches. And I think you're the same, same story there, Johnny, with yourself. Different niches brings in different interests, and you can basically do that. Yeah, and then build that up.
Definitely, 100%. And I think one thing that I do want people to focus on, though, is finishing one thing before you start the next. Because I think that's a big downside of wanting to diversify too soon, is if you don't have one product that's already making money, that's already optimized, that's already, you have the customer service outsourced, the VA. If that's not set up well, then when you start the next thing, that either might just, maybe that thing wasn't even making money yet, or it's going to drop off. So what you want to do is really want to, focus that time and say, what can I do in these 3 months, to really get that one product fully, or at least as close as possible, automated or outsourced, and then optimize and making money. Then let me focus on adding that second stream of income. Yeah. Can you hear me, Paul?
I pressed mute by mistake. Sorry. So that's my fault. So you mentioned VAs a minute ago, and I get asked this question quite a lot. And I've got, I live in a perfect place in the Philippines, and everybody goes to the Philippines for their VAs. And I get asked the question, so when should I get my VAs on board, or when should I outsource this part of my business? Well, the answer to that, in my opinion, is once you've got everything worked out yourself, you need to make sure that you've got everything fine-tuned and whatever you're doing inside out. You've got to be able to know exactly what you're doing before you actually subcontract any of this stuff out to your VAs. Because if you don't know what you're doing, your VA is going to come back to you with a question you're not going to know the answer. And that's wrong. You've got to be able to spend time in your business. You need to know all of the procedures, the processes, everything about the business inside out before you actually think about subcontracting out. Would you agree, Johnny?
100%. I definitely agree. Do everything yourself first. And then I follow these couple steps. The first thing I do is before I outsource anything, I figure out, is this something that can be done by software? And if it is, I'd rather outsource it to software than a person. Second is, does this need to be done at all? Can I just eliminate this step?
Yeah.
And chances, and many times, it's just unnecessary. Just get rid of it. And I found this, like when I was outsourcing my accounting to the Philippines, I had all these columns, of things that, I have to go back and forth to get the data. And then I asked myself, do I need these, 7 columns? Like, what is the benefit of me knowing, these numbers? Am I ever going to look at it? Am I ever going to need it? And what I determined was, even though it was useful in maybe the first month, just to kind of have an idea of whatever it was, that going forward, I would not ever look at that again. So let me just get rid of it. Why pay someone to do something that doesn't need to be done? And then what I would recommend is, while training your VA, instead of just telling them what you need to do, record a screen share of you actually just doing it. And that way they can see how long it takes. They can see the steps behind it. It's a great training tool, because if you end up needing to train someone else in that same thing, because VAs come and go, you can just send them that video again and you don't have to train them all over. And when you're recording it, and you're doing it yourself, you can really see how long it actually takes, because there's a timer. You can see what steps are required, and then you can figure out. Sometimes I'll scrap entire recordings and be like, this took too long. This took 2 hours. This shouldn't take that long. Let me figure out how to streamline it, and then let me record it again, and they should be able to do this in half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little bit guilty of that myself. Being an engineer, I've got this like very, black and white logical brain, and sometimes I forget that the simplest of tasks I just take for granted. Someone else has got absolutely zero idea what the hell we're doing, and I tend to gloss over that or forget about it. And actually watching back the recording. So you're right. I record all of mine as well. Watching it back, you think, you know what? I missed that section. How are they supposed to know that? And I just gloss straight over it. So yeah, I've done exactly the same thing. I've scrapped off videos and redone them. But it's really good for yourself as well, because then you have that sort of the processes all laid down, and you can just pass it on to whoever. And if you're selling your business, you mentioned selling a business and flipping a business sort of a while back, Johnny, and that's another way. So if somebody else is going to bring in some cash and they want to take over your business, you've got all of these files that you can automatically send them and say, you know what, this is how I run the business, and it's basically the whole package. Otherwise, you're going to be on the phone or on Skype or whatever, on
even
a
better
daily basis.
Yeah, even better is to include that VA with the sale and say that it comes with a pre-trained VA, because you can always train up another one.
Yeah, why not?
And people love it. I mean, people love buying turnkey businesses. You can get more money for it. You can sell the business faster, and even more important, that the business is going to continue to run and make that new person money, because everything's smooth. Because the last thing you want is to sell someone a business, and then the next month the sales drop because, and it could be completely their fault, where they didn't realize, they needed to answer customer service, questions or emails. And they started getting all the refunds. But by giving them the whole package and making it turnkey, you make everybody happier. And it really is a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I want to talk about passive income versus trading hours for cash. Now, I'm not talking about going back to the 9-to-5 job. It's more like if you're trying to start out in business, one way to do that is obviously sort of go full-hearted into building a store, whether it be Shopify, whether it be Amazon, whether it be whatever the case may be. Or there's things like Upwork, it used to be Odesk, where you can pick up various different contracts, and from that contract you can actually earn some reasonable money. And doing that, have you ever worked anything like that?
Yeah, actually, so I've done a couple of things like that. One, I've done phone coaching where I was literally trading, an hour of my time for X amount of money. I've also taken on some freelance gigs where somebody was like, "Oh, Johnny, like can you make me this logo? Can you design me this site?" And I was like, I guess I can. I've never been one to refuse money, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I did it a few times, and I realized this isn't scalable. And even with the phone coaching, even though it's nice to get paid, $120 an hour or whatever it is, it's not scalable because in that same hour, I could have been working on my own business. Not only could I have made that $100 back anyways, but then I would have advanced my business in some way to make me more money in the future. So what I've done is I've actually increased my phone coaching rates to a point where people don't sign up for it. And
Right.
it's so instead of having 5 people sign up a month, now I might have one person sign up a month, which is fine because I enjoy that one call. That's, it doesn't take too much time, and it's fun to do. It keeps my skills fresh. But then as soon as I have a month where 2 or 3 people sign up, I raise my rates again. So that way it just keeps, it keeps people out unless they really, really want it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm a big believer in passive income. If you guys want to know like a really good snapshot of where I actually make my money from, I wish I can link this, but it's johnnyfd.com/2016.
I'll put it in the chat, Johnny.
Yeah. Okay, let me do that there. There, I actually wrote it in 2017. I was looking for a way I can just kind of reflect on the year before. So I literally just broke down how much did I make from my dropshipping stores, how much did I make from my books, how much did I make from my YouTube, how much did I make from Udemy, how much did I make from my courses, how much did I make from my blog, and I just did basically a big snapshot. And what's really, really nice is that a lot of that income, probably half that income, was completely passive, which means in the next year, in 2017, even though I wasn't working, I actually took 6 months off completely of all work. I still made, I think it was something like 178 grand last year, even though I wasn't really working. And to me, that is the lifestyle. It's not about just making as much money as possible, but it's about being able to take, a week scuba diving trip to the Komodo Islands. It's being able to hike across Ireland for 8 days, without, using internet. It's about, really being able to enjoy life while still having money come in.
Yeah, and being able to do that is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, my goal in life is to spend more time with the family, to be there for my kids. Yeah, like I said, I've got a big family. I've got there's 7 of us. So for me, so this coming week is going to be really busy for me, and being able to do that is great. I've got graduation time coming up here in the Philippines, and I've got an 18th birthday coming up at the weekend. So stuff like that for me is pretty cool.
I 100% agree. And what's really nice about setting up your life to have your business be location independent and having most income be passive is, as our lives change, because life changes quick, we don't have to find a new job. We don't have to do something different and start over. Like, if I decided to start a family tomorrow and I decided to adopt 5 kids, I would still have that passive income come in. My priorities would change. Instead of me doing these solo, treks in Nepal, I might want to go camping locally with my family, and I'll still be able to do that. Or if I want to spend more time, at piano recitals or teaching them, skills and just being there, we're able to do that. And that's what's really nice about this lifestyle is, regardless of what your priorities are, what your what your mission is in life, what makes you happy, this is kind of the fuel for all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, going back to trading hours for cash, I do have one contract, and I've been doing that for probably the last 4.5 years now. And the reason I don't want to give it up is because I love it. It's great, and it's something that I've really enjoyed doing, and it gives me an awful lot of information with respect to I can pass that on to other people within the group. Now, my contract is for an inspection and audit company in China.
Oh, nice.
That's really, really like on point with respect to topic and subject, and that really helps. And I write a lot of their blog posts. I write a lot of their sort of processes and stuff like this, and I can actually sort of bring that information into the group with respect to getting products inspected in China, what the process is, what they can expect from a report, and I can share all of this information. So, you know, I'm basically doing about 10 hours a week, so that's a couple of hours a day. I can squeeze that in, no problems. But it's really useful because one is keeping my knowledge sharp and things on the pulse with respect to what's going on there. Consequently, I can pass on that up-to-date relevant information to everybody else. So that's the only hours for cash that I do at the moment. And I'm keeping that on for a reason.
Yeah, and it's double dipping, and I highly recommend that. I mean,
yeah,
I would happily trade hours for cash for something that would either improve my other businesses, make me more money on the side, or just have it be something kind of fun and exciting I would do anyways. So if somebody wanted to pay me money to go on a scuba diving trip or go hiking, I'd be happy to do that because I want to do that anyways.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right, I just want to switch gears a little bit with respect to motivation, Johnny. Now, I've been fortunate enough to visit you guys over there in Chiang Mai. I spent sort of a short period of time over there a few weeks back. I am planning on coming over there probably in about 4 weeks' time, I guess. End of March, spent about maybe 2-3 weeks there, and I like it. And over there, you've got a really nice community. For me, this is it. I'm sitting here. This is my office, and I have to be self-motivated. I have to get up in the morning, and I have to. For myself, it's not difficult. I'm a very self-motivated person. I'm self-driven. I'm very ambitious with respect to what I want out of life. I'm not a greedy person. I don't want to live in a big castle or everything, but I just want to make sure that I've got enough money coming in to treat the family and to be comfortable without any stress in my life. And you're right, going back to one of the conversations you mentioned earlier, I don't need that 6-figure salary here. If I just get that, it's just a bonus. I don't need it to live. You know, I can happily get away with a lot less. But for me, being self-motivated is one thing. How do you keep motivated, and what would be your advice and tips to anybody listening out there that wants to start out thinking, you know what, I'm going from this community where I go in the office, which is really nice because you've got all of those co-workers around you that you can bounce ideas off. And I found they were pushing with respect to motivating me, and I went from that to just being on my own. And a lot of people, I guess, are a little bit scared about that transition. How do you deal with that? And like I say, what would be your advice to anyone who's listening?
The easiest, probably the best way, is to either follow a book or an online course with the goal that you want. So whether it's, you know, an FBA course or a book about, you know, how to publish a book on Kindle or whatever it is, if you have that, first off, you have a built-in community because you have the forums or the private chats, but also, you know, you have someone like a teacher, even though it's recorded, that's your motivation. You're like, okay, today I'm gonna do this module, I'm gonna get to this step. And I know this works because when I, you know, did publish my first Kindle book, it was just me alone in, you know, the middle of nowhere. I was, you know, probably 40 minutes outside of the city, you know, in this kind of rural area. And I'm just sitting there just working day and night because my goal was big enough where I didn't need external motivation. My motivation was I need to make some money so I can continue living out in Thailand. But it helped a lot having a formula to follow. You know, if I didn't have, you know, a step-by-step proven formula that I knew it was from someone who's done it before, I would have been lost and discouraged and kind of just, you know, maybe even given up. And it was the same when I started my dropshipping stores. You know, by having a formula and, you know, videos to watch and community to ask questions in, it didn't matter that I was in a co-working space. You know, I really was there to, you know, have reliable internet and having a place to sit. It was nice having other people around, but even if they weren't around, I still would have been successful with it because I had that to follow. So really, it's nice to have other people, you know, working by you. But if you're driven enough and your end goal is big enough, you'll make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Rob and I set up within this business, and I'll come back to Rob later on, is to be different. To be different. I signed up for a course, and one of the things that I started getting into FBA is I signed up for the ASM course. It was a big ticket, $4,000. So it wasn't to be sneezed at. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot, but I was still on my own. And some of those mistakes that I made back then, I'm thinking to myself, man, I paid all of this money. I'm still making mistakes. That's wrong. I should be able to reach out to somebody and say, you know what, guys, can you help me on this? Or I'm not sure about this. And I did within that forum. And what I was finding is people were answering the same questions that I had. They were at the same level as me. In other words, they didn't know either, and they were just guessing. So one of the things that Rob and I said, you know what, let's be different. Let's open up the microphone. Let's open up the Skype chat. Let's get people to access us so they can ask questions. And what we've found is being able to do that, we've been able to encourage and help a lot of people on their way, because they didn't know what to do and they were lost. And without being able to ask that question, they would probably have been given up by now.
Yeah, and definitely there's I think with any online business, any business in general, there's always going to be a couple big hurdles or roadblocks that if you don't pass it, I mean, so many people will turn around at those points. But so it's nice having direct access to to the person who actually knows what they're talking about. So when you guys are signing up for a course, regardless of what it's in, make sure that's part of the package, especially if you're going to be spending $4,000 on it. If you can't ask questions directly to the course creator, or at least somebody really successful, then it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah, and I think that's why we have become successful. We don't want to get too big, because again, I'd be trading all of my hours answering questions on the phone and everything. So if we become like too big as a group, so we've decided to keep it small and personal, and I think that's worked. So excellent, Johnny. I want to talk about the sort of fantastic event that I attended back in Chiang Mai in the end of January, and this is something that I know you're really passionate about. Let's talk about the Nomad Summit and what's that about and how it was born.
Yeah, so this was our 4th year doing the Nomad Summit here in Chiang Mai, and it started just as a way to allow multiple people, hundreds of people, to meet in one place, to be able to share ideas and to teach each other what we've learned, kind of in the past year. And every year has gotten bigger. We started at 120 people, then it went to 250, then 350, and then last year we had over 400 with this, this past month actually when you were here. And it's been an excuse for a lot of people to come back every year to Chiang Mai, which is nice, and hang out with old friends again, meet some new ones. But also, I've realized it's become kind of a marker for a lot of people to say, by January 19th next year, I'm going to be in Chiang Mai, or I'm going to be location independent so I can travel there, or I'm going to have passive income so then I can go there and take 2 months and travel around Asia. So that's been kind of the big, that's why it's so exciting to me, because I literally meet people there, and sometimes hundreds of people come up to me and say, hey, I've been planning this for the last 8 months. I've been planning this for the last 10 months. And it's been that marker where I knew that by January 20th, I had to be location dependent. So I couldn't put it off for 2 years. I couldn't put it off, and just not get started. I had to make sure I had income coming in before then, so I can take 3 months off, or I can start my digital nomad journey where I can just quit my job, sell my stuff, and begin it. So it's exciting to me, and that's why now we've already set the date for 2019. So it's January 19th, 2019. So for any of you who are stuck at a 9-to-5 still, or just kind of stuck in your living situation where you don't feel like you can be location dependent, you don't feel like you can travel, you have literally a whole year to plan for it, and it'd be great to see you.
One of the things that I took away from that sort of the summit was some fantastic speakers, and they all had their own individual story, but how they were all self-driven, self-motivated, self-made, and they all come from exactly the same background as we did. So I was stuck in the rat race, and they said, you know what, this is not for me. I need to make a change, and everybody made that change, and everybody had their own different spin on things, and I found that was really, really interesting to listen to all of those different people's stories and draw from each of them. You think, you know what, I could use that in my business. Yes, I could get that mindset because I haven't got that now, or I could actually implement that tomorrow, and I can see a change over a period of time if I do that. And I found that really, really interesting. Now, I've been around the block a few times. I wouldn't say I'm twice your age, Johnny, but I'm a lot older than yourself and a lot older than a lot of people out there. But age is just a number, it's just a sort of mindset. And it doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you want to make the change, you can make the change. And I think, pat on your back to yourself, Johnny, you put on a absolutely fantastic event with the Nomad Summit. And I was meeting people there from, like you said, all over the world. And some of those people were running a 9-to-5 job, in a 9-to-5 job. And they had that at the end of it, you know what? I am going to be here next year as an independent. I'm not going to be working for anybody else. I'm going to be my own boss. And I think that's good to have that time scale and that target to work towards. And I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. So,
good.
And I think anybody listening to now, within our group as FBA sellers, everybody should, in my opinion, take the time out to go to the Nomad Summit. If not the Nomad Summit, something similar to that, so you can see insights to other people's lives and what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And we have a ton of FBA sellers at the Nomad Summit, but also you can meet people in all other industries. So you have ideas from, different ways of making passive income, but also just different ways of structuring your life and, having that travel freedom. I think that's what we all have in common, regardless of how we actually make our money online or, where we get our check from. I think all of our goals is to be able to live and travel where we want, and work when we want, and from wherever we want as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. I just want to touch on Rob for a bit. I've been mentioning Rob for a little while. Now, Rob and I started the Amazon Gorillaz, as it were, about 4 years ago now. And I know that Rob was exactly the type of person that we've been talking about. He was in a 9-to-5. He was actually the owner of a 9-to-5. He was in the nightclub business. And yeah, when I first met the guy, it just come out of that. He'd basically lost everything, and he had to start everything. And Rob was a very, very self-motivated person, and he managed to work out what the hell to do. And he started his own Amazon business, and basically we hooked up because of my contract job that I've got. It's like the one in China and stuff like this. So that was good, and we set this up. But even during that the first 2 years that we were working together, he was on the phone with me. We spoke every single day. And he would say, you know what, Paul, this is, it's driving me crazy. It's this American lifestyle. It's just too expensive. It's this, it's that. And like I said, I've been living in the Far East for the past 11 years now. And I said to him, it's like, I don't know what your personal lifestyle is and what's keeping you in America, but take some advice, travel, get yourself over to the Far East, pick a place, Philippines, I don't know, or wherever, China, I don't know. So he'd done some research and he come back to me, he said, I found a place. I'm going to Chiang Mai, Thailand. Yeah, it's the hub for digital nomads. It's got sort of a really good living. The cost of living is low. It's got fast internet. I'm going to go for it. And he said, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, and he was on the fence all the time. I said to him, just do it, Rob. And he did. And he, is listening to some of the stories once he moved over, he's quite comical, really. So the guy was always falling over and it's like having accidents on motorbikes. And unfortunately, that's how his time ended. It's really cut short, unfortunately. But I know living in that community over there where you are now is life changing. Life changing, and it certainly was for Rob. And I know And I know he had a big impact on the community over there. I was lucky enough to see the importance of a short period of time there, but everybody knew Rob and everybody looked up to him. Can you share some of your experiences and time with Rob for our group, Johnny?
Yeah.
Please?
So every Friday we have something called the Nomad Coffee Club, which I started a few years ago, and it's just a free meetup every Friday just to get people in Chiang Mai to have grab a coffee together, meet each other, but also to share what we've learned. And it's almost kind of like a mini Nomad Summit every Friday, which is kind of nice. It's informal. It's at a coffee shop, and so it's not as extravagant, but it's just a nice way to have it every week. And I remember having Rob speak there and just thinking, like, Rob, I told you like 35 minutes. He's like, no, he's like, I got so much to share. I got so much to share. And he just wanted to stay on and just talk for hours. And I, like, in the beginning, the first time I met him, I was like, what is this guy's deal? Like, is he trying to build up to a big sales pitch or something? And it never came. He was just always just wanting to share and wanting to give back. And it wasn't until I had him on my podcast, Travel Like a Boss, and he told me his entire backstory. He told me, like why he moved to Chiang Mai and kind of everything he was doing there. And that's when I really understood, like, this is why he loves his life so much today, is because, what he went through and where he ended up. I'll have a link to it in the chat here, but it's episode 137 of Travel Like a Boss. And I'm so glad that not only did I have the chance to hear his story live, but also that we have it, recorded now to, for kind of inspiration for everyone else.
Yeah. And I can't fill Rob's shoes. It's like he had this flair. It was a natural. It was a real natural with people. He was a great guy. And one of the things that he used to do every now and again was do these motivational speaks. He said, "You know what, guys? It's like, just do it." And he was fantastic like that. And one of the things that he said to me is like, "You know what, Paul? When I get to Chiang Mai, I'm gonna set up an FBA group." I thought, yeah, great idea. We can get all of these new people into the group. That'd be fantastic. He said, no. I'm going to do this, and we're going to put people in the group, and we've got a lot of people in the group from Chiang Mai, and you're all welcome to come in. But he said, I'm going to give this information because people are out there, they are still on $600 and trying to work out how the hell I can do 600 or 300 and really live on a budget, and they need that boost up. And I guess we're in a fortunate situation there. We can actually provide that information to do that, so which is good. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so it's been a great life out here. I highly encourage everyone to come out. I actually have to run in a minute because I have a hiking appointment to climb this mountain in a bit. But this is what it's about. I mean, I could be sitting here working and just making more money, but at the same time, if you're not gonna, what's the money for, right? We need enough to be able to survive and live and to be able to do what we want to do. But after that, it's really about experiences, and this is what it's about for me. And I hope that you guys listening figure out what your ultimate life would be. What would it look like? What would your routines look like? What would your mornings look like? And figure out what do you have to do to make that happen? Because I guarantee you it's possible. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of my last questions, actually. Why Chiang Mai? Why is it so good?
Yeah, it's like the perfect balance of nature, city, friendly people, lots of nomads, great food, low cost of living. It really is like the best place. I mean, I've now been to, I've actually don't even know how many countries I've been to, but last year, I think I was at 8, the year before 17, and I've explored and I've seen a lot of, all the other great places. Chiang Mai really is the best, at least for now. It might change, so keep tabs on my blog, but at least for now, Chiang Mai really is the spot. So I highly encourage everyone to at least come see it, stay for 2 months, and then you might be like, oh, Philippines is more for me, or you know, maybe you might like Berlin more, but at least you have that baseline.
Yeah, exactly. One of the last things I want to talk about is sort of a few comments we've got in the chat here from Facebook. Summit was amazing, Johnny. Thanks very much. Looking forward to it next year. If you're thinking about doing it, don't just think, just do it. So, which is one of the comments from Andy. I was fortunate enough to meet some really cool people over there. Andy being one of them. So yeah, excellent. Well, Johnny, I know you've got to go and hike up the mountain. And it's, to be fair, it's like a beautiful place in Chiang Mai. It's like when I went over there, I was really pleasantly surprised how fresh it was. It is near the mountains where you can go hiking up. I guess you can go out and see the elephants and stuff like this. And it's
my
beautiful
view
place.
right here. I want to show you guys just outside my window what I'm staring at while I'm talking to you guys. I mean, just even here, I have the trees, and then just over there, I have the mountains. It really is a great place to be. Yeah,
and you know, it's like this old thing is, oh, it's a rough life, but someone's got to live it. Well, you can live it, guys. You can live it. You know, so you just got to make that jump. But like I say, if you plan things out, if you set yourself a goal and you've got to work towards that goal, you don't. If you're going to make that jump to live in the Far East, Chiang Mai, for example, remember you don't need that big salary to live on. You know, that's just a mindset with respect to, I guess, is a reality. In America or in Europe, you need that money in order to just stand still and breathe. You know, if you were living on that same money in Chiang Mai, you'd be living like a king. You really would.
Yeah, my advice to everyone is get your business to $1,000 a month in profit, and then just buy a ticket and come out here. You'll figure out the rest.
Exactly. All right, Johnny, I really appreciate you being on the show. And I'm going to let you go hiking up that mountain. So good luck to that one, sir.
Thank you,
good
Paul.
luck to your travels next month over to Nepal.
I appreciate that. And thanks, Gorilla Tribe. We do the big gorilla goodbye. See you guys.
All right, guys. That's all. Don't forget, subscribe below, share and link and all the rest of it. So listen, we're going to be around next week. I've got some really exciting stuff. I've actually managed to get some really good deals sort of lined up for us over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be bringing you that sort of exciting news. One of them is, would you like to get paid from Amazon on a daily basis? Yes, I've managed to sort that out for us. We haven't got to wait for the two weeks now. So we can work that out. And if you sign up, they'll actually give you $250 credit, $250 credit. So that's something else to look forward to. So I'm going to be bringing you that probably next week. We've also got some information coming up on how to set up with Payoneer. So if you're struggling out there and you're not from America, or even if you are from America and you want that separate bank account, I know for me living here in the Philippines, I do need that American bank account in order to move forward with my Amazon business. I've now done that, and I've been doing that through Payoneer. So I should bring you that information as well. All right, team, that's my lot. I know it's a little bit different this week, but I hope that was a little bit motivational with respect to hearing Johnny and Johnny's journey with respect to what can be done. Like I said, if you've got any questions, you know how to reach us. Leave us a comment below within the Facebook group. Don't forget to sign up for that. Yeah, just reach out to us if you've got any questions. All right, team, that's my lot. I'm out. You have a great day, great night, great sort of selling week coming up. Yeah, take care. Bye-bye.